Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zatch Bell, Chapter 12, Zatch Bell 2. People were like, where is Zatch Bell 2, Chapter 12? And I'm like, I don't know. So that's what I said to them. Anyways, so then I was like, okay, fine, I'll release it this weekend. So here we are, recording it this weekend. So we pick off where we left off with Zatch, kind of coming to save the day. You can see he puts up a Rishieldo, and saves Folgore and Kanchome. But to be honest with you, they probably didn't really need the help. But Folgore and Kanchome, of course, very happy to see Kiyo and Gash, especially Folgore to Kiyo and Kanchome to Gash. Kiyo is like in his like major cringe mode. He's like, we had to fight this guy named Hanagabu. He's like, nose hair, what the heck? And then he's like, okay. And then obviously Kanchome comes over to Kanchome and is like, hi, big brother, why'd you leave? I missed you. Big brother's gone, mommy and daddy are all gone, and I don't want to lose you too. And then he cries. He's like, I'm so sorry I left you. We'll go see them soon. I know we will. And then they talk about kind of what they've been up to and how Kiyo found them. He's like, it's almost like magic. And Kiyo's like, yeah, they attacked us too. And then we ran into Kanchome because we flew over to you in Milan. And once we got there, we're going to go through a little flashback here. Kanchome's like, oh, you're Kiyo. I know all about you. And then Kiyo's like, yeah, you're just like Kanchome. You're like a mini Kanchome clone. And he's like, yeah, Kanchome said you're a real jerk. And Kidomaru's just like shaking, like with, I'm assuming, rage. His face is just like, I loved that face. Oh my god, I was dying. We also find Folgore's manager to chat with Kiyo and Gash, and they're telling him how to find Folgore. So they show up, and Folgore's like, thank goodness you're here. I can't move a muscle, but we got this spell, and it's Kiyo's spell that they showed previously. He's like, pretty impressive, huh? And Kiyo's like, just like old times. And Folgore's like, please don't fucking shock me, you maniacs. So then they go and have a post-battle victory dinner, and they're eating their food, they're catching up. We get some flashbacks of Kanchome with Kanchome in the demon realm, kind of surviving off the scraps and shit. Like, literally, the whole place is destroyed, and they're just eating whatever they can find. It looks like rocks or crackers. Probably crackers. But yeah, it looks like it's pretty serious over there, pretty dreadful. And Kanchome is very happy that Kanchome gets to have a nice warm meal for once. And then Kanchome is like, Kanchome time, Kanchome time. And then I'm like, what are you talking about? And Kanchome has to wipe his tears away so he can do like this dance song. And it looks like it's somewhat inspired by Folgore's dance moves. And Zatch and Kanchome and everybody else is getting into the groove. It goes on for quite a while. Folgore gets involved, and it looks pretty ridiculous. And then like Kanchome gets down like this, and then he gets back up because donuts, candy, choco bananas, yummy, yummy. And then they keep singing, and then he keeps dancing. And this is like really weird face I'm gonna put on the thumbnail because I think it's ridiculous. And then they get really involved with it, and I'm like dying laughing over it. So then we cut over to the main villains. They're in this like X-shaped building. Forget if we've seen that before, but I don't think so. But he's talking to Belial and how he picked up a few traces of survivors, and so they're gonna go try to take them out. Especially if they're villains, and we can see this guy's got like a brain head or something like that, and we can see like all these ruins and swords and like it looks like a castle, like maybe it was Zatch's original castle, and a town. Like the entire thing is like decimated. It's just absolutely insane. And they think it's an intriguing game that they have going on right now where they're hunting down demons who have been robbed of their spells, and they don't have any means to like defend themselves, so it seems like it's pretty easy. Yet somehow he calls them cards still. Two of them have been destroyed by those wretched books. So he's calling the demons books and then his guys cards, whatever that's supposed to mean. And he wants a list of the past 1,000 people who won, and especially the top 10 of the last 100 demons who won out of the 1,000. Year tournament, and he wants them to be exterminated. Meanwhile, Kiyo gets a book, and it's white and blank with no color, and it's making a loud screeching sound. And then Tia's spell, he opens it up, pours it into the book, and it turns into Tia's spell book. It turns red, vermilion, they call it. It rams Kiyo into the face, which I thought was pretty funny. And then it continues off over through the door, and they're like, oh, we gotta follow it. She might be in trouble. And it cuts back to the demon world, and we see this guy who is, I don't know, complaining about something being a chore, and I guess he's a prince of some sort. And yeah, it's some interesting guy. I don't know if he's like Zatch's son or just like a different prince, like maybe he's their prince. And they cut off to this weird kind of temple, and this temple has like these weird monks kind of praying and holding these orb things in a mountainside, and it's all closed off, and they're like, it's a perfect place to hide. I don't see why we don't bring a whole squad to fight them off for one demon who can't even use spells. But they're like, whatever, we'll get in there. And we see this like woman like lifting like crazy these boulders, and then we see, I saw them coming, they're coming this way, help us, Tio. So this is Tio. When I first read this, I thought this was Megumi. But no, it's Tio in the demon world. She's ripped as fuck, and she's ready to go. She's gonna mess people up. I can't wait. And she looks seriously like identical to Megumi did in the original series. And at first I was like, wow, Megumi goes from pop idol to ripped goddamn action star. That's sick. But no, this makes more sense to me that Tio would be ripped AF and ready to defend the enemies, or defeat the enemies and defend against the weak. Defend them against the weak against the enemies. There we go. So yeah, I'm excited to see kind of how this goes, what Tio has been up to and how strong she is. But also, you know, see Megumi show up again and how well they can kind of take things out. There was also because we finished a whole volume now, there was a 11.5 chapter that happens between these two. Gash's Cafe, if you guys read them in the past, they were in between chapters at the end of the Kanzabans that got re-released. And we see Nose Hair Boo chatting with Gil. He's eating Don Patch and Fanta, which I was like, what the fuck? And then, like, of course, he's got the nose hair, so I'm thinking, blah, 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 blah. But Don Patch is like Pop Rocks. And that's why I think in the English one and some translations, he's known as Papa Rocks. So Gil's like, dude, did this even exist when you were born? Like, what the hell are you doing? So it was kind of like an insight to what's happening. It seems like Gil's trying to overthrow Belial and string him along somehow, some way. And it tells you a little bit more about nose hair, bows, people. There's ear hair, nose hair. There's like all these different hairs, armpit hair. And his partner's like, am I going to be tied up with an ear hair person next? I hope not. Which I was like, oh my god. So it was a pretty funny little chapter there. Obviously, Tio's next. Chapter 13 probably going to show up and help kick some ass. I don't know. I still don't have much more to really say about this series, other than what happened. I mean, it seems self-explanatory at this point. I'm just really in it for the ride. Before, it was kind of nice to speculate what's going to happen. Now, it's like, I don't really need to speculate what's going to happen at this point. I kind of know it's going to go straight to Tia and probably team up with Megumi and bring everybody kind of back together with them. They were like the main original three originally anyway, so it'll be nice to have that original core group together. I was really hoping Apollo would show up with Rops, or like Zeno would show up with Dewford again sooner than this, but whatever. They are really strong, and same thing with Brago, so I guess they're probably going to be held off a little bit more, but there's no doubt they're alive. So yes, I'm excited to read the next chapter. That video should be up very soon, since that chapter just came out like today as well, so I'm going to do them both like back to back, bam, bam. So yeah, we'll see you next time very shortly for chapter 13. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.